Welcome to the Success in Africa podcast with Dr. Modupe, your weekly dose of leadership vitamins to make you successful in Africa.
Hello and welcome to the Success in Africa podcast episode 51. My name is Dr. Modupe Taylor Pierce and I am a scholar and practitioner of leadership and organizational development. Simply put, I study what makes people successful. I have been studying this for 3 decades with a particular focus on people in Africa. And in this podcast, I will share stories, lessons, and insights about people having success in Africa. Why this podcast? Because I am sick and tired of Africa being the poorest continent in the world. We are blessed with the greatest resource, young people. Africa will soon have the largest number of working age people in the world. And when these people achieve success, watch out. Africa's wealth will be unparalleled. Why? Because I don't know of too many Africans whose goal in life it is to die poor. You see, success in life is simply the achievement of a predetermined goal, whether that goal is owning a house and a car and a boat, or creating employment for 100 people, or transforming your village into a high-income community. This podcast has been created to help you to achieve it. So, if you are serious about achieving success in Africa, I want you to subscribe to this channel. If you like this video after you've watched it, click the like button. This episode is brought to you by BCA Leadership, the largest leadership enhancement company in Africa. If you have questions that you want me to answer after watching this video, just log on to BCA Online. The link is on the screen and post your questions there. That is where I will respond to your questions. Last week, we learned about the importance of turning problems into opportunities from the journey of Mr. Enunwa, the CEO of Sundry Foods and Sundry Markets in Nigeria. Today, we are going to learn more about being successful in entrepreneurship from another Nigerian, Tayo Oviosu. Tayo is the CEO of Paga, a financial services provider that has revolutionized payments in Nigeria and played a significant role in removing the need for cash in the Nigerian society, or should I say reducing it. Paga, with a customer base of over 10 million users, is one of the largest financial services providing companies in Africa. An impressive feat considering it only started operating in 2012 after receiving the license to operate in 2011. Since its start, Paga has processed over $32 billion of transactions. It has revolutionized the manner in which payments are made and played a significant role in the development and the reduction of poverty in Nigeria. Not only is Tayo the CEO of Paga, a successful company, he is also an angel investor, a venture capitalist, and an advisor to many entrepreneurs, supporting the growth of other ventures. How did Tayo get here? How did he get to this level of success? Mr. Oviosu was one of 5 children raised in Nigeria only by his mother. By the time he finished secondary school in 1993, Nigeria was in a state of political turmoil, and riots in the country led to universities being shut down. Tayo knew he had to find a solution around the problem, and in 1994, the then teenager found his way into the United States, making it to California, where he enrolled in a junior college. He worked 5 jobs to support himself and his studies. Eventually, he was able to transfer to the University of Southern California and completed his undergraduate degree in electrical engineering. Later on, he earned a master's degree in business administration from Stanford University. After graduation, Tayo got a job with Cisco Systems, working in their venture capital division, where he learned to make investments in technology sector companies. However, his heart was in Nigeria, and he eventually moved to Nigeria to work for a private equity firm in Lagos. While living and working in Nigeria, Tayo became frustrated by the necessity of walking around with large wads of cash. He saw it as a security risk and, frankly, a hindrance on doing business. If somebody wanted to send money to relatives in a faraway town, they literally would have to trust the money, the cash, to a bus driver. Think about that. Such risk, inefficiency. The cost and time lost in traveling through Nigeria with, frankly, traffic and large distances added significant cost to doing business. Tayo knew there had to be a better way, and he set about designing a solution to this problem. As he was investigating the problem and looking for solutions, he also realized that a significant percentage of the Nigerian population was simply unbanked, underbanked, or excluded from basic financial services, typically due to a combination of illiteracy, ignorance, and/or poverty. The lack of access made it difficult for these people to lift themselves out of poverty because of the lack of access to financial services. Now, the start of the journey for Paga was a little rocky. Even though it was registered in 2009, the company did not succeed in getting a license until 2 years later, in November 2011, and finally started processing transactions in the fourth quarter of 2012. Fortunately for Tayo, he had leveraged his experience and networks in the venture capital world to start with angel investors and the venture capital firm. The investment from these partners allowed Paga and Tayo to survive during the first 3 years when cash was simply not coming in. The company started first as a money transfer service, then added bills and account payments to its services. Because of its start as a money transfer service and the focus on empowering Nigerians to transfer money to other Nigerians in other parts of the country, Oviosu focused on building an agent network that soon became the company's superpower, its competitive edge. Signing up thousands of agents was a priority, and these agents provided cash withdrawal and deposit services and, frankly, acted like walking ATMs in Nigeria for Paga, and they still do. The agents earn a commission for every transaction, and being a Paga agent has now morphed from, frankly, just being a small-time gig, part-time, where for some people, it's actually now their main business because of the volume of transactions that they do. Paga's agent network is now over 25,000 people, and it keeps growing. When the business started, Tayo had a laundry list of services that he wanted Paga to provide to his customers. But he had to discipline himself to only roll out new services when there was a demand for it, and there would be acceptance of these new services. The skills he learned working for venture capital firms and reviewing businesses have served him well in understanding that no matter how good an idea sounds to the entrepreneur or the investor, or how excited they may be about it, what matters is what the market, i.e. the potential customers, what they need and what they are willing to purchase. Without that, an entrepreneur or founder may create beautiful white elephants, which are ultimately unprofitable and yield losses. The competitive edge of Paga, which is its agent network, it's maintained because of Paga's commitment to discipline, openness, and transparency. I've already spoken about Tayo's discipline in making sure that he did not roll out services before the market was ready for them. You see, at Paga, the transactions are transparent. The commissions and commission programs are transparent. And Paga is disciplined about what it does, how it communicates, and the decisions it makes to keep all these agents in line and aligned with any potential changes or opportunities. It is rare, frankly, in Africa to have such a large population of people maintained in one organization and continue to work well with each other and with the organization. Other mobile payment companies have tried. And they've run into difficulties to maintain this level of engagement of their agents. And this has either forced them to change their business model or to limit their growth. In the case of Paga, Tayo's personal commitment to discipline, openness, and transparency have served Paga well. What can we learn from the journey of Tayo Oviosu? Well, we can learn that entrepreneurs must have discipline to succeed. The discipline of understanding that not every idea that you are excited about will be viable. And it is the customer's need that must take priority. The discipline of understanding that when the company is not making money, you, the founder, cannot live large off of other people's money. The discipline of maintaining organizational discipline so that thousands of people can plan their lives and livelihoods around your organization's rules and regulations and commit to follow them diligently and consistently. The discipline of ensuring that the right licenses and the right permits are obtained before embarking on doing business in a country. And finally, the discipline of maintaining a disciplined workforce that is aware of the rules of the game and is confident in their leadership enforcing those rules without fear or favor. This last point was highlighted recently when Tayo publicly spoke out about a scandal involving a peer CEO who was accused of sexually molesting a co-worker and initially had denied it and then later on resigned as the evidence mounted against him. In a society that frankly is widely acknowledged as chauvinistic, Tayo courageously spoke out in support of the victim. He not only did that, but he proactively engaged his HR director to conduct training for Paga managers so that they would never fall prey to this kind of error. See, Tayo understands that the key to his success is the people in his organization, and he invests in their discipline by first being self-disciplined and transparent in his own dealings with them. Today, Paga continues to revolutionize Nigeria, and it has already expanded into other African countries. Africa is becoming cashless. Well, we've come to the end of today's episode. I do hope that you have learned a bit more about becoming a successful entrepreneur in Africa. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Tell your friends about it, because together we can transform our beloved continent of Africa. See you next week.
Tomorrow belongs to those people who prepare for it today. See you next week.